Cyberpunk just had an insane amount of info drop. We're going to go over everything from yesterday and some of the new stuff that's come out today as well. We're also going to go over an additional developer live stream happening, as well as pre-order items, a build planner, and even some additional things with the actual in-game mechanics. We also got to go over a few other neat details, including the use of AI. We got a lot to talk about. What's up, world? Stupid back in with the reaper, checking out all things Cyberpunk. Okay, so first up, let's just jump into the stuff from yesterday. We'll go over some of the details there with that. Now, of course, we had those official trailers drop alongside some other interviews, as well as one with Idris Elba. There's a funny little bit with the Idris Elba interview with IGN. Essentially talks about the differences between the expansion and a DLC, where he goes over that they give away the DLC for free and the expansion is much bigger than that. If you want to check out the interview or any of the other trailers, I'll try to have all the links to them down below. Now, we do have that next developer live stream, which actually this time is a red stream instead of a Night City Wire. And I noticed in the last few videos I had a lot of discussion around if the Night City Wire was going to be the interview or the live stream, and where that they released the actual DLC. So I guess they've had some updates with the Night City Wire, but they've also typically released it after a red stream. And so yeah, this is happening on September 21st, so we are actually seeing this released on September 21st alongside the DLC, or in this case, the expansion. Now, this red stream is happening at 4 p.m. CEST, or in the case of NA, that would be 10 a.m. EST. And they did actually give some additional details on what they're going to talk about during that live stream. So we have a tweet here from the actual Cyberpunk Twitter account, which said, D6 Max Tech is ready for your update 2.0. Make sure you're ready to, and watch the next episode of Red Streams hosted by Lilia. This other name I'm probably not going to pronounce right, so I'm just going to skip it, but this one here. Together with their guest on Event Horizon, a lead gameplay designer, and Rafael, a gameplay designer coordinator, they will dive into changes brought to cyberware, combat AI, balance, and more. And they said, of course, with gameplay. Now, this seems like it's only going to be on Twitch and no YouTube live stream from what I see. Does kind of suck. YouTube has a lot better compression rate. If you've noticed with the live streams look a lot better on YouTube than they do on Twitch. That's because of the bit rate, and the compression on YouTube is a lot better than what Twitch offers currently. Yeah, not to throw shade there, but I do wish they would have showcased this on YouTube so we could have saw like the clearest imagery with the actual gameplay. Also with that, we had PC Gamer go over some of the update 2.0 features that are coming to September 21st. And of course, this is quite ahead of Phantom Liberty, or at least 5 days. Now, some of the changes for 2.0 are new perk trees, reworked stats, reworked cyberware, car combat as we saw in those trailers, and dynamic police, or the Max Tech. Additionally, the official Cyberpunk YouTube channel has been posting sort of build videos or outlining some of the actual skill tree sets. They've got 3 here so far, but it looks like they're going to be doing even more, as I do believe that there's 5 subset trees now, or at least that's kind of how they categorized it. I'll link these 3 down below, but right now they do have Bullet Time Ninja, Hack a Slash Netrunner, and Savage Slugger Solo, which actually seems like a pretty big dynamic there. And yeah, I actually liked the skill trees on launch and with the game. I thought it was fine, but I'm glad they're redoing it and doing it even better this time. And we do have some pre-order bonuses for Phantom Liberty as well, and there's quite a few cosmetics here. I think the best one in my opinion is the Wild Hunt jacket. I think that one looks pretty cool. Some people probably like the vest, and there's some pistol skins. There's also a t-shirt, as well as what looks to be a pretty cool sword. That will definitely be cool to toy with there, as well as everything else. I'm not super big on pre-order bonuses, but they're just cosmetic, and it seems like they're not going to influence your game too much aside from maybe the sword. Although there is quite a few katanas and swords in the game already, I'm pretty sure, so not that much of a big of a deal. Especially with clothing not being tied to your actual gameplay stats anymore. That was a major ordeal on launch where they tied all the stats to the clothing. People were looking like clowns or just kind of using underpowered stats to keep the cool clothing on. It was basically like WoW Classic all over again. It was just kind of funny with that there, and yeah, I'm glad they took stats away from the actual clothing. Now, I know we went over the builds with the actual official YouTube channel, but somebody has already created a 2.0 build planner, and this apparently has all the new perks in it all ready to go. So if you wanted to plan out your build, you can from this build planner. There's also a discussion in the comments here around some of the changes that are happening with the combat system that will probably tie into your build. A major and massive change here is the new stamina system that's no longer tied to your sprinting. So now you can essentially sprint forever, and stamina is now spent when you shoot a gun, swing, or block a melee weapon, or even dash. And heal items, including health inhalers, injectors, are subject to cooldown timers that refreshes your 2 charges. So you're no longer needing to stock up on those health items, it's just a charge thing now that you can utilize, which I think are 2 massive changes that I absolutely like a lot. And they're not just constant consumables that I'm looking at and tons of stuff like that, or trying to manage how many inhalers I have or what I'm doing here with health packs. Yeah, I just like that there's a charge system, kind of makes things more seamless and streamlined, and I definitely think that's a better change in that category. Now we also did get an additional mechanic highlight in that PC Gamer article, and it is the ability to pet cats around the city. Now you might say, I've been able to pet cats already, and I do believe there is one cat by Vic's office that you were able to pet. However, I don't believe you could pet Nibbles, which is one of the cats that you could have in your apartment. Basically, you had to feed the cat, and then you would eventually show up in your apartment, but I don't believe you could pet that one, and the only other one that you could pet, or at least the one that you could pet, was that one by Vic's office, but it looks like you can now pet cats around the city, which are much separate from the one that you can get in your apartment. We also had the official Phantom Liberty score out on Spotify already. If you want to check out some of the music that's going to happen in the Phantom Liberty X-Pack, basically the full OST is out on Spotify already. Apparently people are really liking this soundtrack so far, and yeah, I wasn't expecting anything less, especially from the Day 1 OST, which was so good. I almost don't want to listen to this because I don't want to spoil myself for the music and the DLC and playing it, and I kind of want to hear it for the first time when I play the game, but I kind of do want to listen to it. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I'll leave a link down below to this so you can check it out. Now, we do have the use of AI being utilized in Phantom Liberty in Cyberpunk. And what do I mean by that? We actually did have a voice actor that sadly passed away, and they don't want to replace him, which I think is totally understandable. So Victor's Polish voice actor will be generated by AI in Phantom Liberty. That's a pretty cool use of the tech in my opinion, and I'm sure the guy who did the voice acting for it would probably give his praise. And they're doing this by honoring him, and they don't want to replace him. I think it's totally understandable, and I'm glad that they're utilizing this tech for the greater good. Now, we also had a big debate around the Cyberpunk 2.0 console release times. And we had an article here that highlights basically the midnight release times for certain time zones. However, this being a DLC / expansion / update here, I doubt it's going to be utilizing the midnight release times. This is more so probably going to be utilizing UTC. And even as of recent, a lot of big AAA titles like Diablo 4 and Starfield both utilized UTC instead of the actual midnight time zone. That way it was a global release to everybody, and yeah, I'm sure that a 2.0 update or a DLC is probably going to be pitched out across the board at the same time. I doubt this is going to be a midnight release. This is probably going to be a more of a UTC global release time. So I do believe that these times are incorrect and everybody will be receiving the DLC 2.0 at the same time. Typically what I've seen, it can vary if Xbox and PlayStation get it before Steam / GOG. It's happened both sides of the coin there, so it can just depend on when things get released and when buttons get pushed. But we'll have to wait and see on all that there. If you enjoyed today's video, like and subscribe, and until the next one, deuces.